Hi and welcome to my channel Modern Modiste. In today's video I'm going to show you how I made these puff sleeve tops. So if you're interested in seeing how I made these, keep watching. Trace the sleeve pattern onto the tracing paper and cut it out. I traced the sleeve pattern from my How to Make Patterns Tracing Your Own Clothes video. The link for that video will be in the corner of this video and also in the description box. Next, mark 4 more lines down the sleeve pattern about 2 inches from the center, and then each outer line about 2 inches apart. Cut on those marked lines. Evenly space out the cut pieces of the sleeve pattern and tape them onto the tracing paper. For a more dramatic puff sleeve, leave a wider gap. This is what I did for the pink top. Trace around the taped pieces. Then remove the taped pieces of the sleeve pattern and cut out your new sleeve pattern. Cut the back and the neck lining for the back and the 2 fronts in their neck linings. I cut the pink top to be longer. Pin the fronts to the back at the shoulders, right sides facing, and sew. I finished the raw edge with a zigzag stitch, and then trim the excess fabric. Sew a long straight stitch across the top curve of the sleeve. Back stitch at the beginning but not at the end, making sure to leave a long enough thread to gather. Pull the top or bottom thread with one hand and the fabric with the other to gather the sleeve. Now open your top to attach a sleeve. Then pin your sleeve to the armhole, right sides facing, starting at the ends. After that, pin the center of the sleeve to the shoulder seam. Then pin the center of the sleeve to the shoulder seam. I made sure my gather was even on each side of the shoulder seam, and the gather was evenly distributed, and pin the remainder of the sleeve to the armhole. Take your time sewing your sleeve on. This is how the sleeve looks finished. Repeat with the other sleeve. Then close the sides of the top by pinning at the armpits. Sew from the armpit down the sides and then from the armpit down the sleeves. After doing this, I tried on the top and decided I wanted the sleeve shorter and wanted to add some darts. In my opinion, darts are easier to add in the beginning of the project, so if you know you'll want darts, add them first. To add the darts, I found the center of 1/2 of the front of my top by folding the edge to the side seam. Mark 3 inches from the bottom edge, then 9 inches up from that mark, and then the center point in between those 2 marks. At the center mark, I measured 1/2 inch from the edge and then marked a line from the bottom point to the 1/2 inch mark, and then from the top mark to the 1/2 inch mark and pinned in place. I repeated with the other front half of the top and then added 2 darts to the back by folding the side seams into the center of the back of the top to find the 1/3 and 3/4 points of the back. And sew in all the darts. Here's how the darts look sewn in. I added the darts to the pink top before closing the sides. Since this top is longer, I extended the 1/2 inch width of the dart to the bottom of the top on the front halves of the top and the 1/3 and 3/4 points of the back. I then added a dart to the center back of this pink top. To finish the sleeves, cut 2 pieces of elastic to fit your arm where your sleeve ends, plus 1/2 inch seam allowance. Then fold the edge of the sleeve over twice to create a casing for the elastic. I used 1/4 inch elastic for this black top. I hemmed the edge and then folded again, making sure to leave a gap to feed the elastic through. Feed the elastic through the gap using a safety pin to help guide the elastic through the casing. Pin the other end of the elastic to make sure it doesn't get pulled into the casing. Then pull the other end all the way through the casing and pin the 2 ends of the elastic together. Sew back and forth over the elastic 2 to 3 times. Then pull the elastic into the casing and sew the opening in the casing closed. Here's how both sleeves looked finished. I added 1/2 inch elastic to the pink top sleeves. Now hem the bottom of the top with a single fold. Pin the front and back necklining at the shoulders. For the neckline, cut snips into the outer corners. Sew at the shoulders first. Then hem the outer edge of the lining with a single fold hem. The snips cut into the corners help to fold the corners in neatly. Then zigzag stitch over the hemmed raw edge. Pin the lining to the top, making sure to line up the shoulder seams and sew. Snip the corners and the bulk at the shoulder seams so the lining folds in neatly. Fold in the lining to sew. But first, sew the bottom edge of the lining down to the top, right sides facing like this. Snip off the corner and fold the lining to the inside. This is how it should look. Then sew across the bottom and around the entire perimeter of the top, sewing the lining into place. Sew along the top of the bottom hem to secure in place. To add the buttons and buttonholes, I mark for my buttonholes to be 2 inches apart and mark for the buttons to align with the buttonholes. I put one of my buttons into the buttonhole foot and set my machine on the buttonhole stitch. I then sewed my buttonholes where I marked. Using a seam ripper as a stopper, I ripped open all my buttonholes. Then I sewed on the buttons to finish the top. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. On my blog at modernmodice.com, you'll find the written tutorial of this project. Hopefully it was easy to follow. If you have any questions, leave in the comment section below. If you have any requests or anything you'd like to see me make, leave in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Bye!